So first off, what is an elevator pitch? So an elevator pitch is basically a short 30 to 60-second spiel that you give about yourself. So it has the name elevator pitch because the idea is that you're in an elevator with somebody and you only have that elevator ride to make your first impression and tell them as much about yourself as possible. So that's why we call it an elevator pitch. So when you're writing your elevator pitch, you can pretend you're in an elevator, or maybe you're on a BART train with somebody and you only have a few seconds to give your spiel and tell them who you are, or you're in line at coffee, like whatever it is, you just have this little amount of time to tell them who you are. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And why you might have an elevator pitch or why you might need one is for lots of different situations. So again, maybe you're meeting somebody in an elevator. Maybe you're at a career fair and you're introducing yourself. Maybe you're at a networking event. Maybe you're like at a party. I don't know. Whatever it is, you want to tell someone who you are. And the idea is that you can use this little bit of information about yourself to hopefully get a job, get your name out there, get an internship, whatever it may be. So how to write your elevator pitch. So we're going to look at some examples today and we're going to break it down. I will post this whole presentation on the Hub because I link out to a lot of resources on here, and there's just so much information out there that I think everyone can tap into. So I want to make sure you have that. So this will be out there for your own use. So here's the first one. A lot of this comes from Idealist. They have a really good guide with a whole bunch of different examples to writing your elevator pitch. So the first thing to do when you're actually writing your elevator pitch is to think about what really makes you stand out, what makes you really awesome. So a lot of people, especially young people and students, I know I'm kind of like this, I'm really shy when I have to talk about myself. I hate talking about myself. I would much rather talk about somebody else, something else, whatever it may be. And when I have to kind of brag about myself and talk about my accomplishments, I like fully shut down and I can't think of anything to say. So if you're like that, I would recommend talking to your friend or your mom or your manager, someone who can speak highly of you, and ask them what some of your strengths are. And you can use that when you're writing your elevator pitch. And I think that'll make this part of it a little bit easier because it is hard to talk about yourself. And it's okay if it's hard to talk about yourself. And also, on the other hand, if you love it, that's awesome. You're already at an advantage. So your first step is to basically, and I think it's best to write it down. I'm going to show you. We have a whole template on the Hub. Of course, we do. We have everything for you that you can use to help you kind of break it down. But the first step is like, who are you? What can you offer? What are you interested in? Like where do you go to college? What do you study? What clubs are you in? What's your current job? What are some of your big accomplishments? And what are some skills you excel in? And of course, as you're doing this, you want to kind of have an end goal in mind. You don't want to be all over the place. This is for career purposes. So if I know I want to work in the education field, I'm not going to talk about how, like, one time I went skydiving and that's my accomplishment. I just want to keep it relevant to my actual work. And that's how all of these answers should be. So that's step one. So how are you awesome? Step two is to name your greatest strength. And again, talk to somebody who knows you, talk to somebody who's worked with you, and ask them to help you figure out what your greatest strengths are. So you can think about feedback you've received. If you do annual reviews at work or at your job, you can kind of pull from that. And basically, when you're writing this and when you're thinking of these strengths, the whole point is that this person that you're meeting on the elevator, you want them to instantly know what your value is and what you can contribute. So maybe you're really great at fundraising. You can say, at my college's dance marathon, I helped raise $20,000. And by quantifying it and by giving a number, you make yourself really stand out and you make yourself seem valuable and important. So that's kind of what you want to aim for. So step 3, this is going to be our last step. So it's really quick, right? It's an elevator pitch. We don't have much time, so that's kind of why this webinar is so short. So step 3 is, what's your goal? So I meet somebody in line at Starbucks, and I don't have much time to really tell them my whole life story. So I'm going to be really clear. If I meet someone who is a magazine editor and I want to be a features columnist, I'm just going to put it out there and say it. So you can say things like, I'm hoping to find a summer internship. I would love to talk more about you. Can I get your business card so we can set up an informational interview? Or can I send my resume to you so you can share it with your network? Just be so clear. And I think people, it seems really bold, but I think people will really appreciate how forthright you are, and it just makes it easy for them. They don't have to say like, that kid I met was really nice. I wonder how I can help them. They let them know how they can help you. Make it really easy for them. All right, so I'm going to recap because this is going so quickly. So you're going to name your goal, you're going to name your greatest strength, and you're going to give a super quick overview of who you are and what makes you awesome. Okay, so as you're planning this, you want to make sure you have the following. So if you are going to a career fair, I hope all of you do go to a career fair. I think almost every college has them. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm an SRA, they already give me a ton of internship opportunities, go to a career fair. It's such a good practice. You can meet people who work for companies that you might have never heard of. You can make connections, and it's just good professional experience. Like, you can just go to practice your elevator pitch and get contacts. So UC Santa Barbara has a really good website all about career fairs. It's like perhaps the best career fair website I've ever seen. So I would recommend everyone check it out, even if you don't go to UC Santa Barbara. It's good for everybody. And this comes from their website. So what should your speech include? So you should have your introduction. So that's the what makes you awesome. As you're doing this, you want to give a handshake. You don't need a resume. If you're at a career fair, you should always have your resume. As you advance in your career, instead of a resume, maybe you hand them a business card. You want to have your objectives, so that's the what's your goal, like I'd like to set up an informational interview with you. You want to have your summary, so that's your really quick, like I go to UC Berkeley, I studied sociology, 3 years of experience working in education. That's your really quick summary. And then your closing is like, again, thank you so much, I'd love to meet up with you for coffee one of these days, blah, blah, blah. So 4 main things, and it's quick. So again, 30 to 60 seconds. If you're rambling on and talking on and on about yourself, people are going to tune out, or they're going to be like, wow, this student talks way too much about themselves. So keep it short, know your highlights, and know your strengths that you're going to really emphasize. So here's a checklist. I'm not going to go through all of this, don't worry. But again, this is on the UC Santa Barbara website. So it's really awesome. As you go through this, what I would suggest is either present your elevator pitch to your roommates and ask them to read over this checklist and see if you've hit all of these points. Or if you don't want to do that, I personally would never do that with my roommates because I'm way too nervous for that. You can record yourself and, watch it back and see if you've hit all of these buckets, and just make sure that it's memorable, it's engaging, it's clear, and it tells me exactly who you are in relation to workplace. Obviously, everyone's very multifaceted, but you want to just focus on career for this. So here's an example. I think this is a really good elevator pitch. I'm going to read it out to you. Apologies in advance. And this comes from this job hunt website, and they have some other examples there too. So here we go. Hi, my name is Sam Ward. I'm a computer science major with an art minor, and I'm really excited about combining these two interests. I've actually developed an interactive educational program to teach children how to draw. I'd love the chance to explore entry-level job opportunities with the dynamic creative software companies in the Houston area. So this one's really good. It's very scripted. It's not very natural. So what you want to do is, I think you should write something like this and then say it so many times that you memorize it and you can make it sound fun and natural and normal. But when we look at this, we break it down. We know exactly who this person is. We know it's Sam. We know what Sam studies, computer science and art. We know that this person has really awesome experience. They have an accomplishment. They made an educational program that teaches children how to draw. That's so cool. As a person in an elevator who's hearing that, I want to know more about that. And I know exactly what Sam wants. They want entry-level jobs. And I love that they say entry-level jobs because that's realistic. They're not saying, I'm going to be the next CEO of a software company in Houston. They're starting themselves on a nice, normal playing field. They're saying entry level, and then they're going to move up, you know? So they make it so clear. They make it so easy for the listener to process. All right. And so this is the worksheet we have on the Hub. All you have to do is log into the Hub, click resources on the top right, and type in elevator pitch. And there's more than these three, but basically you can go through and fill out all of the different steps and then put it all together and you'll have your elevator pitch. So that is kind of it for today. If there are any questions, please type them in now and I'd be happy to answer them. And I'm going to launch a post poll so everyone we can see what everybody learned. And if you have questions that you're shy, you don't want to share them out, that's totally fine. You can send us an email on the Hub. Just click email an SRA advisor and we will get back to you within 24 hours. And share your elevator pitches. Share them with your family, practice them with your advisor. There's so many different ways to get better at this. And maybe you even have separate elevator pitches for different life circumstances. Maybe there's one for maybe you have a few different interests, so you have a few different elevator pitches. You can go wild with it. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope you guys all have a great night. Hope the weather is okay where you are. I know it's kind of crazy here. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.